All right, everybody, and welcome back to the Season 3 premiere of episode 39. Wait, no, there's only one premiere of any episode, but the Season 3 premiere, we can do a premiere for a season.
Yeah.
Of Show Choir Nation. I am your co-host, William. Alongside me is my co-host, Ethan. We're doing some new dynamics. The product still might be a little rough around the edges. But welcome to Season 3. The date is January 6th, which, first of all, Ethan, happy 12th day of Christmas to you.
Yes, thank you. I feel like, first off, truly blessed that we're even in this position to begin with. Year 6 of our site as a whole, which is unbelievable that we've been going for this long. Year 3 of the podcast, and we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So thank you all for tuning in and being a part of this, being interactive. Not even during the live streams, but in person. People who come up to us and talk about the podcast, I'm like, wait, you actually watch us? Like, I thought this was just me and Will, like on a Zoom, just talking some show choir ball, but
we do know ball, I think.
Not ball doors though. But yeah, I'm super blessed that we have a community that can can back us, and we're able to put a product out there for them. And the fact that we're on to year 3 shows that we might be doing something right. So thank you guys again, and I'm super excited to get this season going.
All right. Second of all, now what I wanted to say. I was going to talk to you about Christmas. Today's the 12th day of Christmas. It's that day they talk about in the song,
Yeah, well, isn't tomorrow the, what's it called? The Orthodox Christmas?
Orthodox Christmas?
Yeah.
So
I think that's what tomorrow is.
Orthodox Christmas 2026. We're doing some quick Googling.
It's when the Stranger Things finale is going to drop.
It is tomorrow. Western Christians celebrate Epiphany today. Eastern Christians celebrate Christmas tomorrow. Yeah. So Merry Christmas or Happy Epiphany if you're in one of those groups. If you're not in one of those groups, there's still a holiday coming up, and it's called the First Show Choir Saturday of the Year. And that's coming up this Saturday. We have 7 competitions on the docket, and we've got a lot to talk about. So sappy stuff being over, let's talk first about the only state with 2 competitions coming up this weekend. But let's just talk about the state as a whole. Let's talk about Iowa. And I don't think there's a better place to start than Linn-Mar 10th Street Edition.
Nothing to be said. Next. No,
great. Well, let's talk about
no, I mean, 10th Street, they've raised the bar for what, 4 years now, 3 years now. They're almost a whole class through where they've just dominated the landscape.
It's been a full 4, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they've been dominating the landscape lately, and they had a whole class go through where it's nothing but success and being at the top of their game. I can't wait to see what they do this year. I've already seen some things through our group chats and whatnot, but I'm really excited, and plus they're doing a great job promoting it, if that's what it is, on their Instagram pages and stuff like that. They're doing a good job. I like when choirs get creative and they try to little tease stuff here and there, but to actually promote it like a good marketing team just makes me want to watch even more. So sad that I probably won't see in person this year. I think I did myself injustice by seeing them once, because now I will see them every single time. But yeah, super excited to see what they do. And Iowa is one of the toughest states out there, so they got a lot of competitors go up against to just say if they can hold on to that top spot and maybe even hold on to the McRonkin for another year.
Absolutely. We talked a lot about programs with changes in a couple of our previous episodes. So go back to episode 36. I believe we covered all of the changes in Iowa. And so those are a lot of big programs: Urbandale, Ankeny, Indianola, Norwalk, etc. Let's talk about some programs that have things staying the same. Let's just kind of clean up our Des Moines area contenders here. We've got Ankeny Centennial with no real change. We do have John Edgerton coming in, but still Carolyn Edgerton, still head director there. Waukee Millennium, Tony Dam, going into year 2 there. Waukee Northwest, Jack Dobbitts going into year 5 there. Johnston, choreographer change, still the same on the director side of things. And then also on the Cedar Rapids side, we have Cedar Rapids Kennedy pretty much staying pat for the year. We have Prairie pretty much staying pat for the year. We have a little bit of a shift at Cedar Rapids, Washington. Rishi Wagley taking on a bit of an expanded role at Wash. But looking at our traditional Iowa Blue Bloods, who stands out to you among those that haven't really had too much changing this year?
I think Waukee. I with Waukee, in my eyes, I'm not in the state and I've never competed against Waukee, but like from the outside looking in, they've always have kind of seen as a sleeping giant to me, and they've slowly, under the direction of Tony Dam, have been getting in that direction where they are a force in the top 3 every single competition. And I think this is the year they finally break through, and the country finally turns their head and says, "Oh, Waukee, yeah, we know who Waukee is." Waukee, I'm very excited to see their show. Very excited to see how they perform this year. I hope this is the year that they can punch the roof out and get some first place placements against some top Iowa groups. I wish them all the success in the world. Ankeny Centennial, we'll be talking about them in a little bit. They're competing this weekend, and they're going up against a slew of.
So is Waukee.
Yeah, you're right. But Ankeny Centennial going up against a slew of different choirs, some that are staples in the area, and some that might be looking for a quick hitter to begin the season. Put people on notice. So if Ankeny Centennial can hold on in that competition that we'll talk about in a little bit, it'll be a great start to their season.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some groups that are maybe not experiencing changes on the personnel side of things, but maybe are experiencing changes on the division side of things. We have 2 Iowa groups, Clear Creek Amana and Pella, that are moving up from Iowa's Tier 2 or 3A division up to Iowa's 4A or top division. Clear Creek Amana, not a ton of success of note in those past couple of years, but Pella's been a very solid finals choir. They've generally been regarded as one of the class of the 3A division in the state, alongside, depending on the year, groups like Bishop Heelan, groups like Benton Community, groups like Marion. Do you think moving up to 4A will have any defined impact on either Pella or Clear Creek Amana?
For Clear Creek, it's going to be a learning curve. It's going to take a while until you can punch above your weight. However, you have to start somewhere, and I'm happy that they're starting now. I was actually able to see one of their shows a while back, not in person, but online. Ended up turning on a live stream, and there was Clear Creek, and they were having a great time on stage, having a lot of fun. I think it was during the time where people would still wear masks on stage. So I think that was around the same time.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. But Pella can make some noise from the get-go if they want to. This is a group that could put a lot of the signature Iowa groups who've been in the scene for a long time on notice, put them on edge. Oh no, Pella's coming type of thing. So they can make a lot of noise. They've dominated their tier for a long time, but it's nice to actually see them step out of their comfort range and take on some of the big dogs.
For sure. Let's flip to a state that may not have as many choirs by number as Iowa, but still has plenty of storylines, and that is South Dakota. Mitchell, class of the state for a long time. They have a choreography change this year. They're going from Stephen Todd to Sam Mulligan. They're also going to an in-state competition for the first time in several years. So we've got a new visual look. We've got a bit of a new travel look for Mitchell. Do you expect the product to be different from Mitchell, or do you expect it to be the latest in the long line of Mitchell shows?
I feel like it's going to be pretty similar. I feel like, they have a certain bar that they set every single year, and I feel like it's their goal to reach that bar every single year. Even last year, watching the show, thankfully, I've seen a lot of Mitchell shows in my lifetime, but watching that show, I'm like, this one, like, I can't rank it above any of the other ones because I feel like they're all the exact same of excellence across the board. From when I first saw them in 2016 or 2017 to now. I mean, they have been doing it for years. So if anyone knows, not how to drop, even with change, with choreography, plus, Sam Mulligan's a great choreographer with Nikki Mel. I feel like, they won't lose a step. I see Mitchell, and, they're going up against good competition as always. I see them going to be in the mix for the top groups in the nation.
Alongside Mitchell, we have our staple 3 Sioux Falls groups. And generally, at the end of last year, most people thought Washington was the best of the 3, followed by Roosevelt, followed by Jefferson. Do you see that changing? And perhaps the more applicable question, how often will groups beat each other during the season before things shake out at the end?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I don't think we'll know until, their final 2 competitions of the year, or, whenever they go up against each other for the last time. They always are just striving for each other. They're always going at each other's necks. That's on the competition sides, on game days. But, I bet, there is some community behind them and stuff like that, being together. I couldn't tell you how this year's going to shake out. I just know that they always kind of go at each other. And, I always forget which one is which, probably middle of the year in terms of their records / success. But, I'm super excited to see how it shakes out.
I do love it and I've never been to a competition in South Dakota. So what looks like on the outside is a friendly rivalry. Yeah. Because there are several districts with 3 high schools that all do show choir. I think for me, the Millards come to mind. You could also say the Cedar Rapids and their 3 public high schools and things like that. But there's always been a bit of a defined pecking order. Like in the Millards recently, it's been Millard West, Millard North, Millard South, or in Cedar Rapids, as of recently, it's been Kennedy, Washington, Jefferson. But the Sioux Falls, it seems like any given year, it could be Washington's year, it could be Roosevelt's year, it could be Jefferson's year. And Jefferson only started doing show choir really when the school opened after the pandemic. And so we have a relatively recent 3rd player in the Sioux Falls scene. Of course, got to give credit to O'Gorman as well, the private Catholic school in the area, and credit to Harrisburg, which is also a younger program that struggled for numbers a little bit. But just the parity from year to year, I believe Washington is doing a Stranger Things show this year. Ooh. I'm not entirely sure what either Roosevelt or Jefferson are doing. But to me, like tucked in one of the smaller circuits, the Sioux Falls schools are just one of the most intriguing storylines to follow over the course of the year.
Well, the Stranger Things finale is dropping tomorrow. Do you think they'll redo the whole show?
I don't even know how many seasons Stranger Things has.
It's a joke. I've
never watched it.
If you know, you know. Mike's not waking up. It's over.
I don't know.
All right. That's good.
Okay, well, on the back of that, let's go to our next state, which is
Daniel Hand's Stranger Things show. Good watch.
Okay, go watch Daniel Hand's Stranger Things show. Wisconsin is starting off its season this weekend, and I believe earlier in the show I said that Iowa was the only state with 2 competitions this weekend. I am wrong, and it's my home state, and so I'm terribly disappointed in myself that I was wrong. Wisconsin also has 2 competitions this weekend, and let's start at the top, similar to how we did for Iowa. Last year, it was the Onalaska show in Wisconsin. They won all 5 competitions that they went to in Wisconsin. They return the same creative team, Richard Moses and Jennifer Sainer as directors, Lexi Robson, Rachel Schenecker, and Jared Voss as choreographers, J.R. Marlowe, Josh Green, and maybe a third on the arrangement side of things. Will Onalaska continue to be the standard bearer for Wisconsin show choir?
I would think so. I would think Onalaska would be ahead above everyone else in Wisconsin. However, let me back up. They had a very exceptional year last year, and I feel like it really went unnoticed on the national scene, especially with Onalaska mostly staying in state or only going to nearby states. So a lot of people don't get, the Onalaska love that they used to. But again, exceptional show. And I mean, their creative team is, has done wonders with this program. And, I expect them to be ahead above the rest of the field. However, I just feel like, and better than I do, that it's almost like in due time, something's going to happen. It's kind of like the same conversation with some of these other really big show choirs that you don't see very often, and they only go to a few competitions, where it's like at some point, there might be a shock somewhere where an in-state choir goes out and they beat them at one competition, but then, hey, Onalaska may get their get back at a next. I feel like we are on the kind of brink of that. However, I don't see it happening this year. I think Onalaska will roll.
There's really been a bit of a changing in the guard in Wisconsin show choir, especially in these past couple seasons, but more so since the pandemic. We've seen a lot of programs that either were not super successful before the pandemic or that didn't really even exist in its current form before the pandemic take the state by storm. Let me spit my words out. And those are groups like lacrosse, which was a combined group for the first time last season. Sparta, which was a prep group before the pandemic. New London, which hadn't made finals for roughly 10 years before the pandemic. De Pere, who was really kind of on its last legs finals-wise before the pandemic. Toma, who had an insane four competition win season in 2024. Who else do you think will come out of this new blood era of Wisconsin and kind of cement themselves this year?
I hope it's I think it's going to be lacrosse. Watching lacrosse and last year, first time being mixed with Logan, correct? I feel like they did a really good job putting a good show together. It was kind of funny because it was the first live stream that you could really watch last year, and lacrosse was competing against Troy Buchanan. And I watched lacrosse and I was like, oh my goodness, like the product on the stage was a million times better than I thought that was going to come on stage. And I was like, this could actually compete against Troy, which at first I thought Troy might just walk away, easy handedly. So, but I think Lax is a choir to look out for, and I think that they're kind of like the next ones up. I feel like Toma had their shot, and then it kind of dwindled last year. Still had a good year, but of course it's kind of hard to keep the same standard when you have like a breakout year out of nowhere sort of thing with 4 wins. Sparta is a really good choir. It's kind of fun seeing them come down to Illinois every now and then.
You'll see him at El Paso this year.
So I like, because you don't see a lot of Wisconsin groups venture out, as you know.
Hey, Sauk Prairie did last year.
But yes, Sauk Prairie does, but the Onalaskas and some other ones, and as much as them. I love seeing as many different choirs, and I think Wisconsin has a very unique traditional show choir scene that not a lot of many people talk about, and I feel like they do it almost as good as anyone else. So, but again, I think lacrosse is kind of the next dog up, or the next one to make noise.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. This is not on the show sheet, so apologies in advance. But the latest lineup that we have out for the Wisconsin season is for the De Pere competition on February 7th. And this is a field that across the groups competing has a grand total of 3 grand championships after the pandemic. I am going to ask you to predict where these groups will finish, knowing that none of them have had statistically a ton of success. So the groups are as follows: Monona Grove, New London, Milton, Neenah, Green Bay Prep. And if we have anyone from Wisconsin watching in the comments, put them in the comments too, and we'll see how you compare to Ethan.
So, I mean, mine are going to be so bad because they're going to be all over the place, especially early in the year when I'm trying to remember how everyone did last year. But screw it. I'll just throw something at the wall. I believe Monona Grove will take it.
Monona Grove at the 1.
I believe they're going to take it, but then I'm sitting between 4 groups here that I know that are good. Like in retrospect to each other. Like, I know that it's going to be a good competition. It's going to be tight. I want to go New London. I'm going to go New London, and then I'm going to go let's go Hamilton, Milton, Neenah.
Hamilton wasn't even in the list that I gave you.
Preble. Sorry, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
I forgot about Bayport. Sorry. And now, okay, yeah. Wait. Drop. Wait. I said Monona Grove. We're gonna go. See how long of a detour we're taking. Monona Grove. We're gonna go New London. I'm gonna go. Ooh, Preble too. I'm gonna go Milton, Bayport, Nina. That's my 5. I'm done there. I just throw them out of the wall. But like all these choirs are good in comparison to each other. So I hope someone gets a GC that mightily deserves one.
Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting for sure. If New London won, it would be the first grand championship in program history. If Milton won, it would be their first GC. I believe since they were a Dwight Jordan group, I believe they had a GC or 2 while Dwight and Ellie and Jeff were choreographing them. Preble, it would be their first win since 2022. Bayport, it's going to be their first year in varsity division. So if they were to somehow take it, that'd be absolutely monumental. We do unfortunately have a comment from the chat.
It usually takes me for to understand Wisconsin. It usually takes me a comp or 2 every year, every single year to be like, okay, here's the lay of the land. I can never just out the get go, unless it was lacrosse, unless it was on Alaska, unless it was Sauk Prairie. Like I can't pick and choose some of these that sit in that low range right there who stay really competitive with each other. I honestly, that's the same thing with like California. I lose track.
On the back of that, we're going to debut a segment that is new for season 3.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the dance break segment. So we have found some shows. We do some show watching on YouTube, and we're going to show a couple of the best dance breaks that we have seen each week. So our first one is River City Revolution from Lacrosse, who Ethan, as we just found out, is very fond of.
I am very fond of. What do you think they're holding there right there, Will? What do you think they're holding?
And the video is just a little too grainy. So I can't tell for sure. But what I do know is that I won't even be seeing this show at Holmen because they're going to Toma.
Oh, no.
I would say, I'm seeing the show this weekend. I'm not even seeing the show this weekend.
Oh, no. Oh,
I know. No. I was like, I was so close to figuring it out. And then I'm like, I'm actually not. So we're going to move a little bit east into Ohio. And in Ohio, we finished last year with a pair of pretty much undefeated groups. We had Solon, who went tried and true undefeated throughout the course of their entire season. And then we also had Marysville, who did not lose to a single Ohio group the whole entire season. Ethan, thoughts on either Solon or Marysville?
So, said this every single week, even in the whole offseason up to this point. I'm going to say it again. Mamble jamble, Ohio constantly changing. There's nothing that's ever set besides Marysville. I feel like Marysville, even with the whole state going crazy in terms of up and down years or who's hot, who's not, has always kept their cool and has always, held that top spot and put on fantastic shows. They've always do decently well against, out-of-state competition. They always hold their own. However, right on their tail, the new kid on the block, quote unquote new kid, they've been around for a while. New kid on the block, Solon, having a very hot year. Some saying that we were like, that was the showdown that we didn't get all year. The one that everyone was waiting for that never came to fruition. But I feel like both of those choirs, they're like, okay, brand new year. We start at 0. The race to the top is it's going to be a fast one. Whoever jumps out first will take the lead. And honestly, I'm going to side with Marysville just because of the national competition they usually go up against and their pedigree. However, the scene always changes. It could be Medina's year. You never know. So
it'd be a very, very big improvement from
yeah.
year to year. If it was Medina's
but
year.
You know me, I'm a big Euclid guy. So Euclid could go all the way this year. That's what I'm thinking.
We do also have a couple groups in Ohio that, if you're a longtime listener or watcher of the show, this is your reminder to either subscribe on YouTube, like the video, leave us a comment, or also follow the show on Spotify, leave a comment, because you can do that now on Spotify podcasts, I guess. But we have a concept of a get back, and a lot of times we talk about it in the context of a get back comp, but we got a couple of groups in Ohio that are looking for a get back season. One of those is Findlay. Findlay went through a director change last year. They went through a trio of very, very tough Ohio competitions. They landed right about 4th in all of them. So Findlay heading into year 2 under the Coolidges.
Mm-hmm.
And then also another group that is perhaps looking for a get back year is Loveland. Ethan, I know you and I saw Loveland. We talked about Loveland on stream at the comp. It was a great show.
Awesome.
But for whatever reason, results-wise, it just didn't click. So we got a couple groups looking at get back years. Who are you picking to have a get back year and why?
Back when I was in high school, back when I was in show choir, it was, Marysville, Findlay, and Loveland were like the 3 choirs everyone knew from the state, and Fairfield, that everyone knew from the state of Ohio. And they were always going at each other, and different times. So if I had to pick a choir that I would love to see get a get back, I think I would. I think I would go Loveland. Maybe it's my recency biased, seeing them lately, but I feel like this is a choir that is always super good, super fun, very colorful in terms of like stage setups and what they throw at you. They're just very entertaining. Findlay, I also hope they have a very strong year because they're one of the I didn't see their show last year. Hand up. I did not see their show last year. But traditionally, they are probably the most traditional show choir that I can think of like the top of my head, whether it be tap dancing and gowns, etc., tuxes, I feel like Findlay has been a staple in the show choir world for years. And to see them, rise back up the promises and get their get back would be very rewarding, not just for like them themselves, but I think the show choir community. But recency biased, I'm going to say Loveland, just so, I could be like, I saw them the year before they popped off. So that's why I think it's going to get back. Yeah.
There will be a couple of phenomenal contests in Ohio this year. One of them will be the Fairfield Crystal Classic on March 7th. The expected entry field for that, we have Zionsville from Indiana. We have Millard West from Nebraska. We have Brandon from Mississippi. And then we also have Loveland from Ohio. I think that's still too crazy to predict right now, especially before the season.
Oh, yeah.
But no one competition that I am going to ask you to give a nickel for your thoughts for, since pennies are out of style, it's 2026. A nickel for your thoughts. The Twinsburg North Coast Invitational on February 7th. Confirmed entrants on this one include Hurricane and Marysville. Expected entrants include Solon, who has not released a public competition schedule, but has gone to Twinsburg every year since 2019. Solon, Marysville, Hurricane. Who wins? Who's second? Who's third? And do you want to even take a stab at captions?
You didn't say Newcastle.
And Newcastle. I apologize to my Newcastle Red Hot Blues and Dynamics folks.
I love Newcastle Red Hot Blues, one of the best choir names out there. So I had to give them a little love. So I mean, Larry just talked about it. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. What competitions? I think I'm looking at the wrong one.
This is Twinsburg.
Oh, I'm on the Loveland one. I was gonna say the Loveland one's a good one.
I was gonna say I will give love to Newcastle, but I didn't see it on that sheet.
My bad. So it's the Twinsburg competition.
You got a first hand up moment of the season. Take account.
Sorry, Loveland had a really good lineup. I'm excited for that one too. First off, Twinsburg, an amazing competition. When I was able to go twice, it was fantastic, hands down. Great.
Did you get to see Euclid there?
Yes, I did get to see Euclid there. Euclid, fantastic show. So I got to see.
We got ETC in the mix at Twinsburg too.
And they're looking for a get back season. They are trying to get a get back season. I don't know. I feel like out of state competition does fairly well at Twinsburg. I feel We always talk about defending your home court.
Please don't say because I don't know. I have never been to Twinsburg.
So, but like when I went there, it was basically just us, Old Mount Zion, and a bunch of Ohio choirs. And now it's it's Brandon, it's Zionsville, and
Wait, that's Fairfield. That's not Twinsburg.
What are you? I'm so lost right now. What are you talking about?
Let's talk about.
I think Zionsville is going to get top 2.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You said Zionsville.
I was talking about a different competition.
Pump the brakes. Are we talking about Twinsburg?
Yeah, we are.
On February 7th.
Yeah.
Which happens to be my birthday.
Okay, well, if you're going to say it like that, yes.
Okay. I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay. It's gonna be.
So I'm asking you. There are 4 groups on the board. If we're doing this Family Feud style, top 4 answers are on the board: Solon, Marysville, Hurricane, etc.
Marysville.
Okay.
But it's like we said earlier, it's going to be that Solon. People were saying, "Oh yeah, you had a really good year, but you didn't beat Marysville." It's one of those things where it's like you have to beat the top dog to be the top dog. And right now, Marysville's that top dog. So you have to beat them to beat it. I've been living this my whole life, with the Chicago Bears and the Packers. Like, you have to beat the Packers to eventually be good if you're a Chicago Bears fan like myself. And that's what we're trying to do this Saturday. So, we aren't officially good until we beat quote unquote Big Brother. So
yeah, it's not going to happen this Saturday. I'll tell you.
I hope so. You might not hear.
Anyways, who do you think is going to get second at Twinsburg?
I hope Solon. I hope it's those 2 at the top 2 podium spots. I feel like that would be absolute cinema.
We have an opinion from the chat. Solon will win probably at Twinsburg at best vocals. Who do you think is getting third? So choirs left on the board: Hurricane and etc.
I feel like it's got to be Hurricane. Now, the thing with Hurricane is, didn't they win like 6 comps last year, or was that like a year ago, 2 years ago?
I think they won 5 last year. Let me do a quick double check.
This is what I'm saying, Will, is I want these things to happen. And, I'm trying to push like a narrative. No, I'm not really. But like in my brain,
the new world order.
In a world of order, I'm trying to push a narrative that we finally get the Marysville Solon. And I'm thinking movies. I hope it's really tight. It comes down to a few points or whatever. However, I'm leaving out a group that won 5 competitions last year as well.
6.
6 competitions last year. So this might, man, I feel like if you had to pick one of them to falter, I would probably go more towards Solon. However, I'm going on the back that Solon can replicate what they did last year.
All right. Well, I'm not even going to offer my suggestions. We're just going to send it to the second and final dance break of the show. Sometimes it really is crazy what you get on preview shows that get uploaded to YouTube. So this one from Russell Middle School in Nebraska, doing a McDonald's show.
Well, it's not on the stage. No.
It's not? Wait. Oh,
no.
Are we good now?
Yeah. We're gonna get it, guys. Don't worry. We're gonna figure it out. What is that? Hey, that's tough.
I don't know if I can get over a middle school with screens in the Midwest. I really don't. There's just something about it where I'm like, I really don't know. It looks like a great show, and I know that Drew Perkins, who's at Russell, is a mastermind, but it's just gonna take a little teeny tiny bit for me to get going on this kind of concept?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, I think they did a good boxing show last year too. Reason why I know that is because I think their show choir profile is literally them in like a boxing ring, but that looks fun. And they definitely, I mean, they had their handful of competition wins last year. So they clearly know how to put on a show and have fun and entertain, because that's the key word in all this is entertain. So, well, because you're a show, or no, you're a choir then show, or no, it's a show choir. No, it's you're a choir then you do the show. However, I like being entertained as a person who's not a judge.
Welcome to an unplanned segment, existential show choir questions. Are you a show or are you a choir?
That's no. This could get deep.
Okay, that's a question for the
deep.
time.
We're basically, the people are like coming out of the woodwork to talk about. No, that's Broadway. No, that's not traditional.
Well, we're gonna go to something a little bit more conventional, which is a competition that's been happening for a while, and that is the Des Moines Christian Illumination. Say it Des Moines in honor of Ethan, or Des Moines if you are a conventional person. The lineup for this one, I do fear we are cooking in the 4A division. Cedar Rapids, Washington, momentum. Dallas Center Grimes, momentum. Indianola Side 1, Norwalk Sound Revolution, Pella Acapella, and Walkie Millennium. Pella Bravo, the lone group in the women's division. The prep division features groups from Washington, DCG, Indianola, Norwalk, and Walkie. Let's start at the top. Ethan, Walkie going for a three-peat here. Is that feasible?
Very feasible. I feel like this is basically their competition to lose. I feel like they should go out there and, have all the confidence in the world. Unless, one of these groups like Indianola, got their first win not too long ago. Was it 2 years ago?
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. It's been that long. My brain is not like.
Do you remember covering it on the podcast?
No, I do. I vividly remember covering it.
They won at West Branch.
It was last year. I don't know why my brain is.
I think they beat Marion at West Branch in 2024.
Yeah, I mean they had a pretty good show too.
I'm gonna fact check myself right now. I'll be really disappointed if I was wrong.
No, you're good. Please do.
Yeah.
Dallas Center Grimes is also a choir that I feel like has been on the come up lately. They've always had their name in the conversation of like who's got next, kind of in the scene, like as a lower choir. I say lower choir, but lower choir as in like the varsity mix division. Norwalk, also a very good choir. Is their high school logo like a green dragon, or am I picturing something else?
Probably.
If it's a green dragon, that'd be one heck of a pull by me.
Dallas Center Grimes High School.
No, Norwalk.
Sorry. Norwalk High School logo. Iowa. There are multiple Norwalk high schools, it turns out.
Whoa.
No, Norwalk are the Warriors. They're navy
What am
blue.
I thinking of? Is there Norwalk, New Jersey?
Are you thinking of Walkie?
Is Walkie a green dragon? No, Johnson's the flaming like purple dragon.
No, Walkie is also the Warriors.
Wait a minute.
Okay, if we got anyone,
are we onto something, Will?
Please,
we're onto something.
I have no idea what we're onto anymore.
I feel like we're about to break. We're about to break something here. No. Okay. Cedar Rapids, Washington.
Well, Johnston is the Purple Dragons. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're also the Purple Dragons. But they're not called the Purple Dragons. Probably they're probably called.
They're just called the Dragons. But you were talking about Green Dragons.
They just called the Dragons.
Yeah.
Wait, Walkie's the Dragons or Johnson?
No, Johnston.
What's Walkie?
Warriors.
That makes sense. I don't get the Norwalk Warriors. Okay. Anywho, I feel like this is a really big competition for a choir like Cedar Rapids, Washington, to like really put their name out there. Gretna has a green dragon.
That's who it is.
Good call. Good call.
Ball knower.
You're a ball knower. Credit. All the credit. I don't know.
Shout out Lydia.
Thank you, Lydia. I'm trying to remember my high school logos and states that I've only been in like 3 times. Cedar Rapids, Washington is one of those choirs I think that can make some noise here. surprise a few people, get a placement, one or get 2 spots above, where people would probably predict them to be. But again, you have Pella, who is kind of like the whole wild card of this whole thing to me. Can they grab a podium spot somehow? I just don't know. I think that they're living in that, that 4-3, 5 range. So I feel like it's going to be walkies. However, the rest is kind of just a mamble jamble, like I always say. And I can't wait to see how it goes out, because that's basically how I'm going to base the whole year off of. That's just how it goes. So here's a lot of good first impression opportunities for a bunch of these choirs.
A couple groups that also need good first impressions are Indianola and Norwalk. Both have new directors this year. Both, I believe, have new choreographers this year. I believe Indianola they were with Kevin Chase, but they are now with Grant Luther, I want to say. I'm going to double check that real quick. I really should have done more research in advance of this. They are with Grant Luther now. Tyler Henderson arrangements.
Oh,
that's a name you know.
That's a name we know.
That's a name we know. Norwalk now with Jordan Webster Moore. So Norwalk also with a new choreographer, and Norwalk's arranger, Tyler Henderson.
Yeah, there we go.
So Tyler Henderson picking up. I don't know if that arranger's new, because I don't think arrangers were listed for either group last year on the show choir website. But both of those groups, new directors, both of those groups need good first impressions to start off their respective eras as well. We're going to flip over to South Dakota, the Sioux Falls Jefferson Cavalier Classic, the large mixed field in this one. Aberdeen Central Eagle Express, Ankeny Centennial Spectrum, also Ankeny Centennial Vortex, Omaha South, the Ambassadors, Sioux Falls Roosevelt Executive Suite, and Sioux Falls Washington Classic Connection. In medium mixed, we have Ankeny Centennial Eternal Rush and O'Gorman Ovation. In the women's division, we have choirs from Aberdeen, Roosevelt, and Washington. And in the prep division, we have Ankeny Centennial Chaos and Delaware Rapids Espresso. Let's start at the top again. This is Ankeny Centennial's first ever trip to South Dakota. Remember, Ankeny Centennial, their school only dates back to the fall of 2013. So still a first-time trip to South Dakota, first in a dozen plus years of the school's history. Can anyone from South Dakota beat them?
I don't know. I'm not too high keen to it. I think it's going to be Ankeny Centennials. I'm thinking pretty chalk being beginning of the year. I'm not getting as many wild takes. However, Eagle Express is one heck of a choir. They are one heck of a choir, and I think they could, if they want, to make, like we said, noise to begin the season, and people be like, oh my goodness, Aberdeen Central, did you really just pop off against Ankeny Centennial? Did you just knock them off? I'm like, yeah, that was us. That's a lot of street cred. I'll be walking around at every competition, Aberdeen Central, yeah, we just knocked off Ankeny C. Because, Ankeny C, they hold themselves as one of the top premier choirs, as they are. I mean, they're an amazing choir.
Do you remember Swan Lake? Okay, well, anyway, note to the audience, if you're going to go watch old shows, Ankeny Centennial.
No, I remember Swan Lake.
Okay, good.
I remember Swan Lake.
I was going to say, you're not that young. Come on.
Sioux Falls, Washington, not the real Classic Connection. Everyone knows the real Classic Connection.
DeKalb.
DeKalb. Sorry.
It is so sorry to all our Sioux Falls, Washington friends.
Sioux Falls, I'm getting them confused again, Will. Sioux Falls, Roosevelt. I feel like they're a top 3 choir here, but again, I'm getting them confused. My head's all over the place.
So what do you know about Sioux Falls, Lincoln?
Dude, I feel like I vividly remember maybe 2 of their placements, but I don't. I couldn't.
That's a trick question. They don't do competitive show choir.
See, exactly. You got me.
Sorry, I had to.
Dude, was it? Dude, they're all. Good. No, I would do that to me too. I mean, it's hard to keep track sometimes as an outsider. You could name any president after them and be like, did they get 6th place at? I don't know. But anyway, a choir I'm looking for is Omaha South here. Omaha South ended their season on a very high note. Their last 2 competitions, I believe they got a 3rd place and a 2nd place after getting 5th and 6th and earlier in the year. However, that's telling me, they don't start as good early in the year. They finish good. However, if they can start their season off with a good placement here, I feel like that's a good omen for the Ambassadors.
We do have a comment in the chat, and I really hope this person has still stuck around. What are your thoughts on Hilltoppers versus EOS at Holmen? And that is where we are going to go right now. The Holmen Gathering lineup, this one taking place in Wisconsin in the mixed division. Chippewa Falls Chi-Hi Harmonics, DeForest DeFortes, Nina Vintage 2026, Onalaska Hilltoppers, Plymouth Momentum, Reedsburg Cavaliers, Sauk Prairie Executive Session, South St. Paul Southside Sensation, Sparta Upstage Adrenaline, and Waukee Northwest EOS. In the women's division, Sauk Prairie and Sparta. And the prep division will feature Drummond, Nina, Onalaska, and Waukee Northwest. Onalaska is going for a repeat. They have many, many wins, probably close to a dozen at Holmen over the course of its history. But Waukee Northwest, first ever appearance in Wisconsin. Their show entitled A Face to Call Home, which I believe would include the John Mayer song of the same title. Onalaska with their Lost Boys and Golden Girls show, which I believe would include the Meatloaf song of the same title.
Neverland. They do that one?
No, that's Peter Pan. That's not Lost Boys and Golden Girls. What are you?
Sorry. I thought you just Lost. I didn't let you finish.
No, Lost Boys and Golden Girls. So two choirs where we know the themes already. How do we think this shakes?
Am I crazy? What is Lost Boys and Gold? I know Golden Girls. Like, I don't know them combined. Like,
I think it's
like I know the show Golden Girls.
It's a song by Meatloaf that I am vaguely aware.
Meatloaf.
Yes. Do you know who Meatloaf is?
Is he one of those parody guys? Is he like Al Yankovic?
No.
I've heard Meatloaf before.
He was like a legit singer in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name one of his songs.
Yeah, I do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Okay. No, I feel like I know who he is.
I'm so sorry if there are any adults in the chat right now.
I'm doing
really.
I need to. There's a lot I need to do. Clearly.
All right. Thoughts on Hilltoppers versus. We're not going to detour into the music. Thoughts on Hilltoppers versus EOS at Holmen.
I think it's going to be a heavyweight battle, but however, okay. Onalaska, historically very good choir out of the gate. Very good choir, even though all those competitions be in Wisconsin. Historically very good.
Waukee Northwest beat Johnston at the beginning of the season last season.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I was kind of heading in that direction. However,
sorry to steal your thunder.
No, you're good, because I probably wouldn't have pulled it anyway. Because my mind just races all the time. It never stops.
He's a machine.
I'm a machine that just spews nothing. Waukee, first time. Have they've competed out of state before? Like in overall?
Yeah, they've been to South Dakota before, but this is their first time in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's weird, Will. You know that. It's a weird place.
I like to think Wisconsin's pretty normal. Wow. Did I just catch a stray there?
Oh, you did it. I was just letting you know, Wisconsin better than I do. Like,
all right. Anyways.
Have you ever seen a group from Iowa perform?
In Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Oh, golly. Maybe not live, but it definitely, like, I remember Valley's prep group making finals at Holmen in 2016.
Okay. I was just asking because I truly didn't know. Like, maybe you had something in your repertoire like that.
No, I've seen Westside in Wisconsin. I've seen Bemidji in Wisconsin. I've seen Waubonsie Valley in Wisconsin. I don't know if I ever saw an Iowa choir in Wisconsin.
I'll say this is kind of like the bigger one that I've known of. And I mean,
no. I competed against Wahlert at Monona Grove my junior year because Jacob Nudie was the soloist in the Jonas Brothers song. Shout out Jacob Nudie, graduated the Illinois Wesleyan BFA program.
Shout out.
I hope he's doing well. But yes. So I saw Wahlert in Wisconsin. They're an Iowa choir.
Yeah, but I mean, this is kind of the biggest one, like, of recent memory that I've known of, and I know they're a relatively new group, like, in general, in the whole scheme of show choir. However, they've already made their mark bigger than a lot of new choirs do. So I feel like this is going to be theirs to take. But again, early season on Alaska is kind of dangerous. However, like the stat you brought up from last year where they bested Johnston, walking Northwest, it kind of raises my eyebrows and go, well, I feel like I got to go with the strongest horse here. And I'm going to go with EOS, even though this is on basically on Alaska's home turf. They win this competition. They always win early in the year. They're in their home state. If On Alaska can get this one out from under walking Northwest, I feel like a lot of things are going to go in their favor throughout the whole show choir season, whether that be people's mindsets about the group, whether it be rankings, whether it be anything else, because then now they have something to compare against that's not from their own state.
So we're going to put Walking Northwest and On Alaska in finals. We're also going to put Sparta and Sauk Prairie in finals as well.
Yes.
And I'm going to have Ethan do a Panera. You pick 2 out of the remaining groups. You pick 2, the last 2 groups in finals. The remaining groups: Chippewa Falls, DeForest, Neenah.
Will, where did you go?
Plymouth.
Oh, there you are.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I did. You were.
Oh, no.
You you were talking, but then you paused, and then you were talking about the groups. Okay, sorry. Yes, Chippewa, Reedsburg, DeForest area, South St. Paul. You said, and Plymouth. And Neenah, are those?
Yes. Yep. Those are the 6. Pick 2 of 6.
2, dude. I am the 2 choirs I'm the most sucker for in Wisconsin, and because I always think that they're good, in sense of making finals every single time, because my knowledge is only the brink minimum. I always think Reedsburg, and I always think Plymouth. I always think those 2 choirs. I don't know why. I always do. I think Neenah's going to take one of those spots. So it's just between those 2. And the fact that, Plymouth is going at 2:15 and Reedsburg is going at 12:45 makes me think Plymouth might grab that last spot. So that's kind of where I'm going. I'm going to go Plymouth. I'm going to go Neenah.
Well, 2 years ago.
Will? Yeah,
2 years ago, Reedsburg made finals after an 11:15 a.m. performance time at Holmen. So not out of the possibility for Reedsburg. I think if Neenah maintains their 2025 levels, and every season after the pandemic has been very, very different for Neenah. So it's a very big if. But if Neenah can maintain their 2025 levels, I think they have it. Reedsburg got hot at the end of the season last year. They started slow. Chippewa Falls, very solid season last year, did not start early. I'm going to take a couple flyers here, and I'm going to go with Neenah. And give me Chippewa Falls for that 6. Give me Chippewa Falls. And that may be one of the worst takes that I've had this season, but I can say that because it's the first week of the season, and one of my takes has got to be the worst. So
performing after lunch break? Or no, wait. Wait. I think it goes to them and then lunch break and then the rest of the field. Oh, that's going to be something,
Yes. Although I love Plymouth as well. And I would be very, very happy if Plymouth. I'd be very happy to see any of these groups make finals, even South St. Paul, even though they're not from Wisconsin. I know that program has been through a lot, and to see them make finals would be great. So those are shots in the dark, but I'd be happy to see literally any of these groups make finals.
Me too.
We're going to move on to our comp of the week wild card. But before we do that, I've not been monitoring the chat, but the Hilltopper show is about Hollywood. So that's what Lost Boys and Golden Girls is. It's about Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
So now we have that. But our comp of the week wild card voted on by you, the people. And if you are new to watching the show, hit our Instagram account at HomeroomSC every Monday, probably Monday in the evening or sometime Tuesday in the morning for our wild card comp of the week. This determines what gets talked about on the podcast, what gets written about in the comps of the week column. But this one is a wild card in a double sense, because not only was it the wild card voted on by you, the people, but it's also a really big wild card in terms of the lineup. The second annual Maryville Spoofhound Spectacular, this one taking place in far northwestern Missouri in the large school division. Denison Singing Ambassadors from Iowa. Oak Park Oak Street Singers from Missouri. Pleasant Hill Hillside Singers from Missouri, Scott Catholic Vivace from Nebraska, and Smith Cotton New Score Singers from Missouri. In the small school division, Cameron Lights Camera in Action, Chillicothe Corliers, Carrollton 9th Street Singers, Hiawatha Headliners from Kansas, and the Smith Cotton Broadway Velocity. In the women's division, we have the Mercy Troublemakers from Nebraska, as well as the women's group from Oak Park and Scott. This is a no finals competition, so we're going to break it down by division. In this large school division, Ethan, who sticks out to you?
So my eyes automatically kind of just drift towards Pleasant Hill. However,
we remember the good days.
That's kind of where I'm coming from.
They like late 2010s Pleasant Hill, the one that would stick up to Troy back before Neosho was good. Ooh,
exactly.
Like
that's just where my eyes drift to. Smith Cotton is another fantastic choir that has kind of come on the scene lately, and made their voice heard in Missouri. And however, I don't know what it is, but Scott Catholic, man, and them going first in the day and there being no finals is kind of making me think that they might grab that top spot. I don't know how. I don't know, what happens. Oak Park is another fantastic choir. Now,
when you say first in the day, you mean at 5:15 p.m. when the large division starts?
Yeah, the first one to perform.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. The first varsity one to perform, they have the opportunity to set the bar, and I feel like if they set that bar high enough, I think they can snag that top spot in the judge's mind throughout the day. It's gonna be tough because if any of these choirs can win it, I think this is sets the boundary to how the framework can go for years. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking is like if Oak Park goes out there and they beat Pleasant Hill and Smith Cotton and Denison and Scott Catholic, I'm like, okay, I see Oak Park as the top dog of these choirs, and I feel like they're just in that weird range where it's like there's so many unknown. However, they're all solid choirs. So I'm very excited to see how this shapes out. I'm happy that the people voted this to be our comps of the week. I thought this should be one of our comps of the week. However, I'm going to go with the first varsity mixed choir of the day. I'm going to go with Scott Catholic.
Those of you who are longtime watchers of the show know that I am usually one for the chaos pick, and especially early season. Look, I'm just going to be real with you, the audience, and I think my co-host can handle this. I'm not looking big picture at this. Early season is the time when upsets happen. Early season is the time when people figure out, oh, hey, this is what we're doing this season. It's so hard for me to find a chaos pick here because every single choir in this large division feels like a chaos pick. But my chaos pick is going to be the Oak Park Oak Street Singers. They have 7 GCs in their history. The latest of those came in 2018. So this is a group that has been winless for a long time. Scott getting their get-back win at Hinton last season. Smith Cotton getting their get-back win at, Platte County, I think, last year. No, Rockbridge. That's what it was. Getting their get-back win at Rockbridge. That was Smith Cotton's first win in a long, long time as well. But I'm going to go Oak Park. I think in second place, I'm going to go with Smith Cotton. I think I'm going to go Scott in third, Pleasant Hill in fourth, and Denison in fifth. Just a nice little note about the small division. We do have the Battle of the Seas. We have Cameron, Carrollton, and Chillicothe. No idea how that's going to shake out. Don't ask me about Missouri small schools. One of my weaker areas of show choir knowledge. But a very nice Battle of the Seas there. With that being said, it is just about the 1 hour mark. And we're going to be a bit of a tighter program this year, so we're going to cap it at an hour. I will be at Holmen. I am very, very excited to get this show choir season off and running. So if you see me, absolutely come up to me, say hi. If you like what we said about your group, let us know. If we said something wrong about your group, please let us know. If
there's a live stream. It's just beginning, Will. It's just beginning.
If you feel like you caught a stray, also let me know. I promise to take all criticism in a
Yeah.
Perhaps a little excitable, but still even mannered, and purely excitable because it's comp day. But very, very excited to get this season kicked off. And Ethan, what are your final sentiments as we get going in 2026?
Excited. I'm very excited. You know, I feel like there's been a lot of change to the point, like more than previous seasons. It almost feels like I feel like there's so much change where the state of show choir can flip at any moment. I feel like majority of the top dogs are going to stay the top dogs, but I feel like from, you know, that 12 to, I don't know, 30 range of choirs, like in our rankings or whatever, can change at a minute's notice. I feel like a lot can change. I also think, you know, a lot of choirs are like reverting kind of back to their roots, back to not traditional show choir necessarily, but, you know, being good at the fundamentals, you know, singing, dancing, instead of like the whole show aspect. Because, you know, for a while it's all been about entertaining in the show. And are you a show? Or are you a choir?
Make a reprise.
Exactly. That's perfect timing. Well, I feel like a lot of show choirs are kind of reverting back to, you know, the fundamentals. And I feel like as a show choir purist, I love being entertained. In the end, I don't care what kind of show you do. I do not care. If I'm entertained, I'm entertained. However, seeing that pure show choir kind of come back, I'm excited for it. And I feel like this is kind of anybody's year. You think of Linmar, you think of Cinder Grove, you know, you think of some Johnson, you think of some of these other ones. However, I feel like this year, like the amount of unknowns are insurmountable. And I think that this is going to be a really, really fun year where we see some results that we never saw coming before. So, you know, I'm excited that the people are with us and they get to go through it with us. You know, we get to go and do this stuff, and hopefully we produce a lot of content and about, you know, how much fun we're having in the show choir world. And I'm excited to get this journey started with you, Will. I'm super pumped for year 3.
Right. The real show choir is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
So next week, Tuesday, if you want to watch the show live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, youtube.com/Homeroom Show Choir, otherwise available after the fact on YouTube and Spotify and maybe Apple Podcasts. We'll see if our producers can get around to that. Absolutely. Have a great first show choir weekend of the season, and we'll see you next week.
Best of luck.